YouTube? I'm back. Haven't been so consistent lately. Low-key, I've been shitting myself, bro, for not being consistent as I want to, because I do want this shit to last, but I just be lazy as fuck. But I'm back. We're here to watch a YouTube video. Japanese Strangest Unsolved Mysteries. Let's get into this shit. Bro, this pizza's fucking amazing, bro. I'm putting you guys on. Marco's Pizza. Marco's fucking pizza with the honey. The hot honey. Oh my gosh, that shit scared the fuck out of me.
Monday. The peak is shrouded in fog. It's the aftermath of one of the most violent storms to hit the area in months. A search helicopter powers through the mist, scouring the region for a pair of hikers from Tokyo who set out the day prior and haven't been seen or heard from since. This hunt has been ongoing for hours.
That's just the most scariest thing ever. Going like just on a trip with your friends and like just not knowing where you're at or like everything dies on you is the most scariest thing ever, bro.
Sunlight
Not saying that I've done that
dwindling
shit,
as search
bro.
teams comb every crevice, yet find no trace of anyone
Just imagine
around.
that shit, bro.
But as nightfall takes its grip, enveloping the area in complete blackness, suddenly, something strange enters their view. Just
SOS.
south of
My bad,
Mount
you guys.
Asahidake, a crudely constructed, massive SOS sign beckons from a clearing. It's undeniable that the missing hikers have made this, and it's a damn good thing they did, because with conditions like these, finding them otherwise would have been nearly impossible. The team swarms the area, with newfound hope that these hikers just might be hiding nearby.
Wait,
They
they're hiding?
search and search and search until finally they find them.
Oh shit. Oh shit.
About a mile north, the two men emerge from a cave. They are completely disoriented, battered, and exhausted, but most prominently are in complete disbelief that the rescuers found them. As they're pulled up into the
It's so crazy how like these paramedic niggas, these like firefighters, like just everybody who works in this type of industry or like this type of department, they're really smart. It's so crazy how like when all of them work together, they just pick up the biggest, like the smallest clue, and they could instantly find your ass, bro. Like so crazy how like the human brain actually evolves, bro.
aircraft.
My
The
bad for
search
tuning the
team
mic too,
reassures
bro.
them that they're gonna be okay before commending them on their efforts while out there. We couldn't have found you without your help, they claim. You guys did a really great job building that sign. The men pause for a minute, visibly confused.
Wait, what?
I'm sorry,
Did they not bait that shit?
we didn't build the sign.
Yo.
We have no idea what you're talking about.
What the fuck? Wait, so who put that sign down there? And just some random. Bro, is that Japan? Cause that shit is so nice, bro. Like I know it's all beat down and worn down and shit, but that shit's still nice as fuck, bro.
You know, I'll admit, the island of Hokkaido is beautiful.
No, just for a point of reference, I don't know if you care, but I lived in Japan for 3 years.
It's a landscape adorned with volcanic mountaintops,
I climbed Mount
trails with
Fuji and
serene
everything.
views, and
Just
a
letting
multitude
you
of
guys know.
steam vents giving the area an almost dreamlike aesthetic. It's no wonder that it's one of the most popular hiking spots in Japan. as no matter
I'm
what
fucking
time
up.
of year you go, you're bound to have an experience you'll never forget.
Holy shit.
From the summit of Mount Asahidake, it was 2.6 miles directly south where the SOS sign awaited. Resting in a relatively flat wetland, it was constructed with 19 cleanly cut birch tree logs, each measuring at around 16 feet long. Interestingly, the deviation down here is considerably longer than the main hiking trail on the mountain,
Yeah, how the
making
fuck
its
did they get over there?
existence entirely perplexing. As far as it's known, there are no trails south of this mountain,
what I was
implying that
thinking,
whoever
bro.
built it
They just
had to
walked
have
down
made
there.
their diversion from the north. A detour littered with steep cliffs, a dense forest, and even the turbulent Chubetsu River.
Damn.
At this point, it's completely unknown how this person got here, and for Japanese police, it was undeniable that a mystery was brewing on the mountain. Someone is still out there, likely pleading for help.
Yo, that's what I'm thinking.
One day later, a second team is dispatched to probe the area for any signs of hikers in distress, this time with
Bro, this is
emphasis on the
scary as
wetland
fuck,
the
bro. I would
site
hate
sits
for
in.
this shit to happen to me, bro.
And while they all held out hope of finding someone still alive, unfortunately, just a few short hours into their search, they'd uncover quite the contrary. Hidden near the
Bones?
SOS sign are scattered human remains covered in bite marks from wildlife,
No.
and nearby, a backpack containing various items. A Sony Walkman, 4 cassette tapes,
Uh-huh.
toothpaste,
Uh-huh.
a bar of soap,
Mm-hmm.
and a towel.
And a towel.
At first glance, it's obvious that the belongings and the human bones are connected. However, a curious question lingered in everyone's mind. How did this person with enough energy and strength to build an SOS sign out of 19 massive logs allow themselves to die in nature?
Bro, but they did that shit
For
so
the rescue
perfectly
team,
too.
nothing further
I
was
understand this is
discovered
like
that
3D
day.
modeling, like
For
3D
what
like
it's
Blender.
worth, though,
But
this
like, bro,
seemed like a pretty open and shut case. Locals have claimed that the weather on this mountain is volatile, with thunderstorms rolling in with hardly any notice. Perhaps this person got turned around, mistakenly made their way down here, and spent their final days awaiting help that never came. The sight at the SOS sign and the story it tells is grim, but all things considered, this case, again, seemed relatively straightforward. Someone passed away here and built an SOS sign before it happened.
okay.
The
Well, I
only
mean, obviously.
question really was, who was it? And how exactly did they get here?
This is why you always need to keep a compass, know how to use a compass, know how to use a map. You gotta learn, because when you in these predicaments, you can't not know what you're doing in this like type of environment, you know? You have to know how to survive.
2 days pass, and examiners from the Asahikawa Medical University notify Hokkaido police that the human bones belong to a female.
What?
Reportedly, she was about 5 foot 3 inches tall, had type O blood,
Isn't that
was somewhere between 20
Isn't that a
and
rare-
40
a
years
rare
old
blood
at the
type?
time of her death, carried
or is it
bone
O
fractures
positive?
in
I don't
multiple
know.
locations,
But I think that is like a
and
rare
died
blood type.
within the span of 1 to 3 years prior. Aside from this, there was no further identifying information about her, and effectively, she was consistent.
Wait, but how do they know her blood type if they just had her bones?
Something is wrong.
What?
This doesn't make any sense at all.
Yeah, it's not. I'm not stupid to know that. That doesn't make sense.
Upon calculating the weight of the SOS logs by utilizing numerous wood weight charts online, I found that 16-foot segments of birchwood weighs anywhere between 150 and 400 pounds each, depending on diameter. Multiply this by the 19 segments this sign is comprised of, and we have a whopping total range of 2,850 and 7,600 pounds of total weight making up this sign.
What the fuck?
So, with this information, we're left to assume that a 5'3" female with fractured bones had the energy and strength to not only cut down 19 massive trees with tools that were never found, but also had the stamina to transport anywhere between 1 and 3 tons of weight completely by herself. Let's not forget, either, that all of this was done after taking a treacherous 2.6-mile diversion down the south side of the mountain, undoubtedly causing considerable exhaustion from the elements. Without help, constructing this sign alone is an extraordinary feat.
Yeah, they had to be
feat
another
that
person.
doesn't add up given the context here. So
that's a
was this
perfect
person
sign.
actually alone? Or was there perhaps someone else that died there with her?
Maybe the other person ran off. Bro, this is scary as fuck.
It's late at HQ, and investigators are scouring for clues. Of everything they uncovered, the cassette tapes seem to be the most promising lead on uncovering the identity of this
I
woman.
ain't gonna lie.
And so, they put them in their tape player and begin to listen. As they play, they're met with musical tracks taken from various anime TV shows. However, once they make it to the last one, something strange gives them pause.
What the fuck? Oh shit. Well, that sounds like a gun. Yo, it's scary. Why is he making all this noise? What is he saying?
Despite the bones being female,
Sound
the
like a
voice
dude.
on this recording, clearly in distress, belongs to a man. And the translation: SOS, help me. I'm stuck on the cliff. SOS, help me. I'm at the location where I first met the helicopter. The Sqawz is deep and I can't climb up. Please pick me up here. Interesting.
Oh my gosh. Yo, this is shivering me, bro. This shit got me scared, bro.
Aside from the blatant parallels to the SOS sign, I can't help but find it strange that this man uses not a single phrase implying that he's with someone. I don't know about you, but if I were stranded somewhere with another person, I'd plead for someone to help us, because we are the ones stuck here. In this recording, though, it sounds as if he's completely alone, unaware that a female is stranded in the exact same area, almost like, to him, this female doesn't exist.
Yeah.
The woman who the bones belong to and the man who the voice belongs to almost exist in a vacuum. Remnants of two people discovered in the exact same spot, completely unaware of the other's existence. The only thing tying them together, an SOS sign nearly impossible for one person to build, and whispers of an agonizing death. A sight of demise. then we are years too late with uncovering.
Because nobody's like actually like actively flying over those areas, which they probably should be, to be honest with you. After like that many like people getting stranded out there, they should be having people just patrolling out there, to be honest with you. Then you start making trails all around the mountain.
Fascinated by this case, a Japanese reporter named
That was a
Koyo
smart Sqawz play
Abaratani
right there.
sets out to the site of the SOS sign
smart
in
Sqawz
search
moment.
of any clues the police may have overlooked. While uncovering anything new was one hell of a long shot, surprisingly, after they dug through some tree roots, they actually uncovered something. Just 165 feet north of the SOS sign and hidden under foliage was a large hole containing various belongings. 2 cameras, a notebook, and most prominently,
An ID card.
a license.
License.
This ID belonged to a man named Kenji Iwamura, someone from
Hello.
Kannon City in southern Japan, over 800 miles south. This discovery was massive because for all anyone knew, this was bound to be their guy. I mean, this had to have been the voice on the recording, right? And of course, this man must have been associated in some capacity with the female bones found at the same site. While she may be, up to this point, still unidentified, at the very least, those investigating this case finally had a name. Kenji Iwamura.
Kenji Iwamura.
It's the middle of summer, and 24-year-old Kenji Iwamura sets out for Mount Asahidake for a short hiking trip. He arrives at a small mountain lodge at the base of the summit and only plans to be there for a couple nights.
That shit look nice
Later
as
on,
hell, bro.
he informs the hotel owner that he's embarking on a hike, ignoring warnings of a storm that would hit the area that night. Hesitant, the owner agrees, and so Kenji sets off from the hotel lobby and embarks into the
And
great
he's by
unknown.
himself, yo. This dude's different, bro. He probably just wanted to get away from his wife and his kids, you know, wanted to have some peace of mind.
As time ticks by, the sky darkens. The hotel owner becoming increasingly anxious and with no way to contact him to confirm how he's faring in this unstable weather. Hours pass without a word from him. The storm comes and goes. The clock approaches. Days pass without a word from him. Weeks come and go. Kenji Iwamura never turned up. He was never seen again.
I'm trying to figure out, so those people, dang, so
With
those
the
people that were in
discovery
the
of
beginning were
Kenji's
lost
ID,
too.
police
But
were
they just found
certain
him
that they'd
earlier.
cracked this case. Reportedly, determining gender from bone fragments isn't always accurate, and for all they knew, they had to belong to him. From here, they tracked down and contacted Kenji's family, believing that this was the final piece of verification they needed to close this case. Their confidence was at an all-time high, catalyzed by his parents later claiming that he was an avid fan of anime and that the backpack they uncovered indeed belonged to him. And so, at last, the police played the cassette tape for them, certain that they'd recognize the voice of their son. And as fate would have it, by the grace of God, they didn't recognize this voice at all.
What?
They have no idea who this person is.
Yo, everything is just changing at this point. What the fuck? So who's related to this dude?
With no evidence of foul play, Hokkaido police, bizarrely, continued to run with their theory that this sign was built by Kenji Iwamura. They cast aside the consensus about the bones, the lack of identification with the voice, and simply ran with it. It took just 11 days for them to close this case, and to this day, the mystery surrounding the SOS sign has been cast into the void of history, solved to them, yet completely bewildering to the world surrounding them. By 1990, the bones were re-examined, and the consensus underwent a surprising change. Reportedly, they never belonged to a woman with type O blood, but rather a man with type A.
So how do they find his blood? I mean, well, they could just look up his record histories and shit. Okay, that makes sense.
Why the hell were the bones suddenly reclassified? Who was the man recorded on Kenji's tapes? How were these massive trees carried and placed by just one person? And how were these trees chopped down at all? Taking a broader look at the landscape, we've established that the site of the SOS sign was reached by a diversion from the main Mount Asahidake trail. As we've seen, though, multiple hikers have done this. So how have they all made the exact same mistake? So as it turns out, there's an incredibly confusing landmark on the mountain. It's a boulder called Safe Rock, and it's typically used by climbers to orient themselves on their trek, as once you encounter it, you're required to take a right turn to continue your journey to the peak. Bizarrely, however, there sits another identically shaped boulder right next to Safe Rock called Fake Safe Rock. Unlike the former, using this one as a guide diverts hikers to the much more dangerous south side of the mountain, terrain littered with steep cliffs and intense grades filled with a specific type of bamboo, known locally as Sqawz. In recent years, Fake Safe Rock has been marked with a rope to signal that you shouldn't follow it. However, to this day, hikers often misinterpret it for the actual Safe Rock, adding even further confusion to an already disorienting situation. I'm sure you're finding this convoluted as I'm explaining it to you.
Yeah,
Now imagine if you were faced with this dilemma while exhausted, in the wild, and completely alone.
I'd go nuts.
To this day, it's believed that both the Tokyo hikers and Kenji Iwamura made this mistake, leaving them both to be stranded and completely helpless. So with this in mind, let's go forth and entertain the idea that Kenji Iwamura was the only one involved here. Let's just say that everything belongs to and was done by no one but him.
Damn,
So
it's
it went
crazy
a
how
little
shit like
something
this actually probably happens every single day.
like this. Kenji Iwamura begins his trek from the lodge and makes his way up the Asahidake trail. Because of the impending storm, it's possible that there are few hikers up on the mountain. He makes his journey all the way up before the sky darkens and dense fog rolls in. He encounters the fake Safe Rock, confusing it for the real one, and makes a right turn, leading him south. As the day bleeds by, he begins to panic, the sky darkening as his psyche becomes ever more anxious. He recognizes not a single thing about the path he's on, and it becomes rapidly clear to him that he's venturing nowhere near the summit.
So go
Completely
turn
turned
bro.
around and with no other choice, he continues, following some semblance of a path, even though it's only heading down. Is he heading back to camp? Are there any towns in this direction? Where exactly is he going? As hours pass, he becomes more panicked and begins screaming for help, for anyone to hear him. He falls off a cliff on the way down and breaks 2 bones, and so, in immense distress, pulls out his Sony Walkman to record an SOS message and later plays it on repeat to save himself from damaging his voice. As he continues to limp downward, he encounters and crosses the Chupetsu River before eventually landing at his final destination,
Which was
the flat wetland where he would build the SOS, and where the two would inevitably remain.
Yo, Jesus to that dude, bro. Sorry.
You know, on the surface, this theory makes sense. However, when you begin to pick apart the finer details, this story rapidly falls apart. As we know, the only cliffs in the vicinity are up the mountain, and if these are what Kenji's referring to in his recording, assuming it's him, then he made it to the wetland with broken bones and in excruciating pain. Even if we give him the benefit of the doubt and say that he had every tool in the world, building a sign of this scale would take immense effort for just one person. It's been said that something like this would take 2 days to construct for someone healthy. So how in the world did Kenji do this while critically injured?
Oh, and those are big ass logs. I thought those were like twigs.
There
Those
was
are
no
big-ass
axe
logs.
ever found. And why would he have one on a mountain hike
And those don't
anyway?
even look like birch trees.
On top
bro.
of this,
What
the
fuck?
condition of the bones indicated that he would have been incredibly frail by the time he passed away. There is no way this man made this thing alone, leading me to believe that Kenji Iwamura, perhaps, wasn't the only one to die there.
Do you think
Consider
other
this.
people like finished it for him?
Kenji is on the hike, and somewhere during his climb, encounters someone else out there. The two are both on
Same
their way
backpack.
to the mountain peak,
Female.
and so they pair up and continue their trek together. As the fog rolls in, the two begin to undergo equally critical errors, making their turn at fake safe rock and getting lost down the mountain's south end. Injured, one of them makes a recording while the other pleads to keep going. And so they continue downward, cross the river, and make it to the wetland where Kenji lies in agony. It's possible that this other hiker, for some reason, had an axe, and over the next few days, made this sign with incredibly limited
But how
help
does she have
from
axe when they
Kenji.
never even found an axe?
Kenji knows he can't go any further, though. And so, in a final fit of desperation, the other hiker grabs a handful of supplies and takes off to find them help.
Yeah,
In
that
a
makes
way,
sense, but
this could explain why
backpack.
police never found an axe. This could explain why the voice on the recording wasn't Kenji. And this, potentially, could explain how this sign was even made in the first place. The human body can go 3 days without water, and perhaps this unknown person used their last in a final push for rescue. At the end of it all, though, they would never make it and instead would die a slow death.
Dang.
Surrounded by darkness, by wilderness, and in a forest, completely abandoned. Perhaps their
So they
body
still gotta go
is still
find the
out
other
there,
body, bro.
but we just haven't found it yet. It's a tragic end to someone who may not even exist, but goddammit, it's the only way this story makes any sense. Kenji Iwamura had to have gotten help from someone else on the mountain that night. There is just no way in which he couldn't have.
Dang, bro. Scary up in these wilderness streets, bro. They don't play.
I refuse to believe that there was just one person on Mount Asahidake that night. The circumstances are just too extraordinary for one to pull this off alone. The broken bones, the stranger on the tape, the rapid closure, someone migrating literal tons of weight after vital injuries, Everything about this conflicts with the reality of the situation we've been given. These theories, as far-fetched as they are the only way this makes any sense in my brain. And even then, I'm still assuming that someone had an axe, assuming that an entire second person was there, and assuming that this other person died and was never found elsewhere on the mountain. No matter which way we approach this, nothing makes sense without drawing vectors to things that may or may not have happened. And to me, that's what makes this incident so incredibly perplexing. The man on the recording never stated that he was with someone. And even if we assume that Kenji wasn't alone, the only way this story makes any sort of sense, it's almost like the two of them never even knew the other existed. It's like two people encountered the exact same spot, just on completely different timelines.
That's what I'm saying. Someone else had to complete. I don't know, bro. This is so confusing. And I'm not the one that type to figure this shit out, bro. Actually, no,
It goes without saying that we can theorize for hours about what took place on Mount Asahidake and how the SOS sign, given the evidence we currently have, shouldn't exist. But out of everything, the one detail that haunts me most about this is the simple fact that at the end of everything, the police have never formally identified the bones as belonging to Kenji. And this is after they were reclassified to belonging to a male, after this story spread to the world around them, and after the mystery surrounding the SOS sign and all of its bizarre inconsistencies had spearheaded this into one of the most captivating unsolved cases in history. There has never been an official answer as to who the bones belong to. And to this day, nobody knows when the SOS sign was made. And who in the world built it.
From Next Bubbles Love. Well, that concludes the video. Yo, shout out to Nextbo for making this video, for letting me react to it. Well, I mean, he didn't let me. I mean, I'm just reacting to it. But thank you for Nextbo for coming out with this amazing content. You know, who knows if the hiker ever been found? Like, honestly, that's actually like genuinely scary as fuck. I would hate for that shit to happen to me or anybody that I care about or just anybody in general. But with that being said, I love you guys. I will be streaming live tomorrow. If you guys are watching this when I upload it, I will be live. And yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. Peace out. Love, Sqawz.